Hi everyone, it's Sarah at the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum, and today we are doing another one of our Thinking Thursday videos. And today is kind of a special day because we are also using this video for our virtual McCrory Gardens Garden Discovery Festival. We're so excited to do this event every year, and even though we can't make it in person this year, we're excited to provide an educational opportunity for you guys to do at home. So today we are actually going to be doing and setting up an experiment that talks about how greenhouses impact plant growth. And so we're going to make our own mini greenhouses today so that you can monitor plant growth and see how that greenhouse impacts how fast those seeds germinate and how fast they grow compared to seeds in a normal environment. So as we always do, we're going to start out by listing through our supplies, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we'll need are plastic cups. And so a few different options that you have. You could either use traditional plastic cups, but today I'm actually going to be using clear plastic cups so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. And you need 3 of these total. And so 2 of them, if you want, could be your traditional plastic cup, but 1 of them for sure has to be a clear cup, because when you set this experiment up, you want to make sure that 1 of the cups is clear so that water or that light can get in to help your plants grow. So 3 plastic cups total, at least 1 of them has to be clear. After that, you'll need a craft knife or a set of scissors. And whenever you use this, you always want to make sure that you use the help of an adult. You'll need some garden soil, which I already have pre-put in a few of our cups here. Next, you will need some seeds. Now, today I'm using a package of seeds that I already have open from a different activity that I used. And so I have some onion seeds in here. You can see the little black seeds here at the bottom. Normally, seeds come in a package like this. And so don't be surprised that you see me getting seeds out of this baggie today. You'll need some water, and today I'm actually using water out of a spray bottle so I can control where it's aimed a little bit better. But if you want to just use a traditional cup or watering can or whatever you use to water your seeds, any of those options will work. And the last thing you'll need is some regular old Scotch tape. So those are all the supplies that you'll need, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that you want to do is, with using your craft knife or scissors and the help of an adult, is in all of your plastic cups, you'll want to cut a few holes at in the bottom of your cup. So I'm going to go ahead and do this here. I'm just going to poke right in and pop through a few of these holes. Okay. So I've got holes in the bottom of this cup now. The other 2 cups that I'm using, I already have prepared. So I already have holes cut in the bottom of these cups. And the reason we're cutting holes in these, for these 2, are so that when you water your plants, if you get a little extra water in there, it'll easily drain out the bottom so that they won't sit and get waterlogged. Your 3rd cup, we're cutting holes in the bottom so that it can let air in and circulate in through your plants for when you set up your greenhouse garden experiment. So that's why we need the holes. After you have your holes cut in the bottom of all 3 cups, you'll fill 2 of your cups up with gardening soil, and I've already done that. You can see that I filled these cups up about 2/3 the way up with gardening soil. Just make sure that you have about 2/3 to 3/4 of your cup filled with soil, as long as your cups measure about the same. So I've got that ready. And after you have your soil ready, then we can actually put in our seeds. So I have my seeds already split into 2 groups of 10, counted out in cups that I can just rewash and use again later. So I have 10 seeds in here. It doesn't really matter how many seeds you put in, as long as you put the same number in each cup. You'll notice that there's a theme here where I say, we're putting the same amount of soil in each cup, we're putting the same number of seeds in each cup. When you set up an experiment like this, it's always good to start and control as many of the variables as you can. So like the amount of soil, the number of seeds, so that as you're going through this experiment, you know that you tried as hard as you could to make your experiments similar. So I'm going to go ahead and dump these onion seeds out into my hand and place them on top of the soil here. So I've got this cup done. I'm going to take the other group of onion seeds and do the same thing in this cup and put those and sprinkle those around the top. So now I've got 2 cups that have the same number of seeds on top of the same amount of soil. After that, I'm going to go ahead and take some extra soil and make about a 1/4 inch layer on top of the seeds, just so that they're covered up a little bit. Again, just try to get this as close as possible as you can. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a top layer on here. Tap that out and make it level. And I'll do it in my other one here too. And it's important when you do this to work on a workspace so that you don't mind that if it gets a little dirty, because as you can see, I've already spilled some soil, but that's totally fine. So now I have my seeds all planted and ready to go. And so the next thing I'll do is take my water and go ahead and water these. You'll want to remember that when you water these, you want to water them about the same amount here to get started. And when you water these, you're going to want to make sure that the soil gets moist and damp, but you don't want to overflow and completely soak out the soil because you don't want to drown out those seeds. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this and spray here. And so I've got that top layer of soil damp. And like I said, I'm using a spray bottle today. But if you want to use a watering can or anything else that you have, go ahead and do that. Okay. So it might be a little hard to see on the camera, but I've gone ahead and used the spray bottle, and I can see that it's starting to soak through in the lower layers. And so I'm gonna spray a few more times here, just to hope that that soaks through a little bit. Okay, perfect. So I've got those seeds in the soil moist. And so now is where we're gonna start setting up to make these 2 pots a little bit different. So one of your pots you're completely done with. You have everything set up with. You've got your soil, you've got your seeds, they're watered, you're good to go. The other pot we are going to take and we are going to set this up as a greenhouse. And so typically when you go and you visit a greenhouse in the winter, the spring, or really any time of the year, a few of the characteristics of the greenhouse is you walk in and you notice that it's a lot warmer in there. And you also notice that it's a lot more humid in there. And so a lot of that has to do with the either glass or plastic they have covering the greenhouse. It keeps that moisture in, keeps that warmth in, and so it helps those plants grow a lot better. And so to act as our greenhouse today, we're actually going to use this other clear plastic cup, and we are going to put it upside down on top so that the lips of the 2 cups meet together. And we are going to use our Scotch tape, and we are going to tape this so that it's closed. So I'm just going to use a piece of tape on each side here just to keep that on. And so now I have our 2 different pot environments set up. So we've got this pot that has the onion seeds that will be kind of like your traditional growing environment. And we've got this pot set up with onion seeds that has the cup on top that will keep the moisture and some of that heat in to help that or give the greenhouse effect in this pot. So I've got these two, they're ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and set these in a windowsill so that they get plenty of light so that they can start the growing process. And as you're doing this, a good thing to do is kind of monitor your seeds to see how they're doing. You wanna make sure that you keep their growing environment damp as it goes along. And so you'll wanna make sure you check the soil every day to see if it needs more water. And then you'll want to also note if there's any differences in the growing process in your two environments. So are the seeds sprouting on the same day, or is one seed sprouting earlier than the other? Are they growing at the same rate, or is one seed growing faster than the other? Are they retaining the same amount of moisture? So do you have to water one of your seeds more often versus the other pot? A lot of those things are going to be things that you can monitor as you work through this experiment and see how this greenhouse impacts how fast these seeds grow. And so you've got this experiment already and set up. Like I said, just throw it in your windowsill and watch those seeds grow. Take some notes on how things go so that you can compare it. And I'm sure you'll have great results. So this again was Sarah from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum. Thanks for watching again for another Thinking Thursday video and for joining us if you're part of that crowd that wanted to go to the Garden Discovery Festival at McCrory Gardens. We hope to see you next year at the Garden Discovery Festival and next Thursday for our Thinking Thursday videos from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum. Again, I'm Sarah, the Education Coordinator. If you ever have any questions about this video or any of our other videos, just shoot me an email and I will get back to you. Have a good rest of the week.